Welcome to Global Watch. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Let's talk about football, a game that unites billions, stirs passions, and sparks rivalries across continents, or, as some call it, soccer. No matter the name, the world's most popular sport is about to face one of its biggest shakeups ever. The 2026 FIFA World Cup was set to be a spectacle like no other, a sprawling continent-spanning event, co-hosted by the United States, Mexico, and Canada. It was meant to be a symbol of North American unity, a celebration of diversity, and a logistical marvel. But then, in a twist more dramatic than a last-minute penalty, everything changed overnight. The football world was thrown into chaos. The world woke up to the astonishing news. Canada, the polite neighbor to the north, would now host the entire tournament. No one saw it coming, not even the most seasoned insiders. Yes, Canada, the land of maple syrup mousse and hockey, was suddenly at the center of the sporting universe. The implications, absolutely enormous. For a country with a modest football history, this was a seismic shift. This wasn't just about stadiums or matches. It was about politics, money, and the very soul of FIFA. Behind the scenes, deals were struck, alliances were broken, and the future of the sport was suddenly up for grabs. How did a three-nation bid, years in the making, collapse so spectacularly? What went wrong and who stood to gain? And now, with only 2 original host cities, how is Canada supposed to pull off the biggest World Cup in history in less than 8 months? The clock is ticking, and the world is watching. This is a story of political maneuvering, logistical nightmares, and one nation's unexpected rise to the global stage. Every decision, every delay, every dollar spent will be scrutinized. Buckle up, because what happens next could be a triumph that inspires generations, or a catastrophe that shakes the beautiful game to its core. The world is watching, and the stakes have never been higher. Let's rewind to 2018, a year that promised to reshape the future of football in North America and beyond. That summer, FIFA awarded the 2026 World Cup to the United Bid, a historic partnership between the USA, Mexico, and Canada, 3 nations coming together with a shared vision. On paper, the plan was ambitious and impressive. 80 games spread across the continent, with the US set to host 60 matches, and Mexico and Canada each hosting 10. It was a logistical marvel, promising to unite millions of fans across borders. The bid was sold as a beacon of modern cooperation, a symbol of unity in a world often divided by politics and borders. It was more than just a tournament, it was a statement. Massive stadiums, passionate fans, and a record $11 billion in projected profits were promised. The excitement was palpable, and the world watched with anticipation, wondering what this unprecedented collaboration could achieve. Host cities were announced with great fanfare, fans rushed to book flights, and the dream of a united North American World Cup seemed within reach. The partnership was celebrated as a model for the future of global sports. But beneath the surface, cracks began to appear. Disagreements over revenue sharing, security arrangements, and branding strategies started to strain the alliance. These issues were brushed aside as minor squabbles, the kind that happen in any big partnership. After all, the stakes were high, and the rewards even higher. The world, FIFA, and the hosts themselves clung to the dream, believing that unity would prevail, and the tournament would be a triumph of collaboration. But as time went on, optimism faded, tensions simmered, and the cracks widened, threatening the very foundation of the partnership. The dream of continental unity, once so bright, was built on a foundation shakier than anyone realized. Trouble surfaced in late 2025. Former US President Trump made unilateral declarations about moving games from certain US cities, undermining the spirit of partnership. This sparked a diplomatic firestorm. Mexico and Canada felt sidelined, their roles diminished. The dream of unity quickly unraveled. By October, the US Soccer Federation, under political pressure, demanded a larger share of matches and revenue. Mexico, feeling trampled, withdrew from the bid. The United Bid was dead. FIFA faced a crisis. Sponsors panicked. Broadcasters demanded answers, and qualified teams were left in limbo. The beautiful game was suddenly looking very ugly. FIFA needed a savior, fast, and the world watched, stunned. In the chaos after Mexico's exit, FIFA scrambled for answers. Would the US go it alone? Would the tournament be postponed? Could anyone else step in? Then, in a shocking press conference, FIFA President Infantino announced the US had also withdrawn. The bombshell: Canada would host the entire 2026 World Cup. Canada, prepared for just 10 games in 2 cities, was now tasked with 104 games nationwide in 8 months. The world's media was stunned. Was this real? The Canadian Prime Minister accepted the challenge, looking both determined and terrified. Mayors of cities not even on the original list scrambled to prepare. Social media exploded with memes and disbelief. The big question: can Canada actually pull this off? Canadian officials had no time for shock. They launched a national task force overnight. The first challenge stadiums: Montreal, Edmonton, Calgary, Ottawa, Winnipeg, and Hamilton all rushed to upgrade facilities. It became a coast-to-coast scramble, invoking the spirit of the Vancouver Olympics. Transportation was overhauled. Airlines added flights. VIA Rail launched Fan Express trains. Security plans expanded, with the RCMP coordinating across provinces. A call for 50,000 volunteers was met with overwhelming enthusiasm. Hotels and communities prepared for a global invasion. What began as a crisis became a moment of national unity. It was frantic, expensive, and chaotic, but optimism was growing. Canada was all in. The sudden hosting shift triggered an economic boom. Construction and engineering firms landed billions in contracts for stadium upgrades. Demand for skilled labor soared. Provinces launched recruitment drives. Hospitality and tourism exploded. Hotels, rentals, and local businesses braced for millions of visitors. The government launched a global marketing campaign, rebranding Canada as the world's party host. But the boom came with costs: emergency funding, rising national debt, and heated debates in Parliament. Inflation and supply chain issues hit small businesses hard. Economic benefits were uneven. Major cities thrived, while rural areas felt left out. Regional tensions grew as some provinces bore the costs, without direct rewards. The World Cup was a gold rush for some, but a financial gamble for all. The World Cup became a diplomatic game-changer. Canada's rescue of the tournament projected it as a reliable, stable partner, earning global goodwill. The US, meanwhile, suffered a reputational blow, seen as unreliable and politically chaotic. Mexico's withdrawal was a point of pride, but also a lost opportunity. The United as One slogan became a painful irony, with North American relations strained. For FIFA, the crisis was both humiliation and opportunity. The quick pivot to Canada salvaged the event and projected decisive leadership. The message to future hosts: stability and reliability matter most. FIFA will now demand ironclad guarantees to avoid political interference. The 2026 saga will shape how mega events are awarded for years to come. Experts see this as a watershed moment for mega event hosting. The sudden shift in host nations has sent shockwaves through the world of international sports, raising urgent questions about the future of global tournaments. For decades, FIFA has relied on the stability and resources of major countries, but this crisis has forced a dramatic rethink of what it means to be a host. Dr. Simon Chadwick notes that Canada's savior host role could open doors for more medium-sized nations. Stability may now trump market size. This could mark a turning point, where reliability and governance become more important than sheer economic power. Countries once overlooked may now find themselves in the spotlight, as FIFA seeks to avoid the chaos of recent months. Julie Foudy calls the US withdrawal a devastating blow, setting back soccer's growth and international reputation. The loss of a major market like the US is not just a financial hit, it's a cultural setback too, with ripple effects that could last for years. Investigative journalist Declan Hill warns, this is FIFA's biggest gamble. The organization is betting its credibility and future on a single high-stakes decision with little room for error. Rushed projects risk corruption and security lapses. The pressure to deliver on time can open the door to shortcuts, mismanagement, and even criminal activity, putting fans and players at risk. All eyes are on Canada and FIFA's integrity units to prevent disaster. Their ability to maintain transparency and enforce strict oversight will be tested like never before. A former FIFA executive admits, for FIFA, survival means the tournament must happen. Everything else is secondary. The organization's reputation, finances, and even its leadership are on the line. The US became unreliable, Mexico walked, and Canada was the only option left. Is it ideal? No. Is it risky? Absolutely. But sometimes, in crisis, the least expected choice becomes the only path forward, but it's better than cancellation. For FIFA, the show must go on, even if the circumstances are far from perfect. Internally, this was a 5-alarm fire. Canada was the only extinguisher. The urgency and pressure behind the scenes cannot be overstated. The outcome will define FIFA's future approach to hosting. Will this lead to more inclusive, flexible, and resilient tournaments, or will it expose deeper flaws in the system? The world is watching to see if this gamble pays off. Every decision, every match, and every headline will be scrutinized by fans, media, and critics alike. The stakes couldn't be higher. For FIFA, for Canada, and for the future of global football, everything now hangs in the balance. Now, we stand on the edge of a World Cup like no other. Canada's unexpected role has changed the conversation about who can host global sporting events. The old model, superpower bids, has been exposed as fragile. The 2026 World Cup is a live experiment in a new approach. Should FIFA move to permanent rotating host sites, or rely on stable savior hosts like Canada? If Canada succeeds, it sets a new blueprint: reliability over scale, national will over sheer size. If it fails, it's a cautionary tale of hubris and chaos. Either way, this World Cup is now a referendum on the future of international sports. The world will be watching. No pressure, Canada.